does, she finds success. And I found her at Dance Center, and because she's such an entrepreneur, she could see that doTERRA would work for her for an entrepreneurial opportunity. And she loves the oils. She has a darling little 2-year-old, and oils just work for her family. She's like an expert in just every field. I use her technology skills in several ways. She does my newsletter. What else do you do?
Maybe that's it. I'm your friend.
And she's my friend, and she does my newsletter. I try to get her to do whatever I can, because she's so brilliant. And today she's our presenter on a really great topic, less stress, which we all need, and better sleep. So let's give Carrie Fernandez a big hand.
I'm not an expert in a lot of things, but I have become comfortable in a few things, which is important. I'm not very good with technology, just so you know. Newsletters, yes. She helped me set this up today. So she's very generous when she introduces people. But this is a good topic, stress less and sleep better. So who feels stress? Yeah, we all do. We all deal with stress. We all deal with stress differently. Our bodies react differently to stress. So a lot of us who tend to be big reactors in certain ways to stress, we can do certain things to help us to relax. It's not, we'll talk about oils that help with stress, but we're going to talk about just overall health, so that way we can help reduce stress. You can't just put an oil on and expect the stress to melt away, as lovely as they smell, many of them. It just doesn't work that way, so we kind of have to talk about what happens within our body as well. So this is my stress-free picture, because this is where I grew up in Florida, and I took this picture last year when I was sitting on the beach with my husband. And my son was up with Grandma and Grandpa, and of course I changed the color of the sky. It wasn't really pink like that, but that's my low stress picture. So you have to find the things that help you relax in life. Massages, the beach,
aroma touches,
wine. I'm always giving the aroma touches. I don't get the aroma touches very often, but that will change soon.
We got to talk.
We're gonna have a trade-off soon. Okay, so. How many people feel like this? I just like this slide. Stressed much? I'm a little stressed right now. Just turn around and leave quietly. No one gets hurt. Sometimes we feel like that, So now we're going to say just like the picture. All right, so we've all seen this diagram. We're going to talk a little bit more about each one of these, because it does factor into our stress levels. Nutrition is key, obviously. We talk about the vitamins all the time. I'm not going to heavily focus on them today, but it is one of the main things, and I can just speak for myself, for me personally, that has helped. I never started taking the vitamins to help with stress or anything in particular. I was taking them because I know how great they are for you, and I think we could all, we're not going to right now open up for discussion, but if we did, I bet we would all have different benefits that we get from the vitamins. I have a lot of injuries being a dancer in the past, and I have tears in both my hips. I newly have a broken bone in my heel. Yeah, but I shouldn't be wearing heels, don't tell my doctor. So, I have a lot of issues too, and I will tell you the vitamins help with inflammation in my body so much. That's a whole separate class. But make sure you're taking the vitamins. They sort of fix you from the inside out. We're not going to go into any more than that. The vitamins are very important. More energy, you get sick less often. There's no way that we can take all the nutrition in through food, so you have to have a supplement. How stress affects your body. So we're all striving for the state of homeostasis. We all have our balance oil. If you have an oil right now, take it out. I bet almost everybody in here has an oil. Take your favorite oil out. We're going to do something really fast. Take your favorite oil out. Balance is one of my favorites. Take whatever you enjoy.
Yeah, but I don't have that one.
If you have an oil and the person next to you doesn't have one, maybe you will be so kind and give them a drop of oil. Put 1 or 2 drops in your hand, rub it in. We're not going to inhale. Well, you can if you want to. Somewhere deep inside all the purses. Alright, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to rub it in your hand. You're going to stretch your hands as far back behind that you can onto your skin and really hard press with your fingertips and just pull really, really, really hard and bring your elbows down and then bring them out to the side. And do that like maybe 3 or 4 times. help release the tension. We all hold so much tension in our neck and in this area here. So this is something you can just do yourself. You don't have to go have a massage, as nice as that is. But when you're feeling stressed or tense, just put your favorite oil on. Hopefully now we'll be a little more calm, more relaxed. Balance oil, like I said, is my favorite. Stress is the body's psychological response to overwhelming stimuli, a condition that directly challenges the body's ability to maintain homeostasis. My aroma touches are so good, right? Once the body's response to stress has been activated, a number of physical changes immediately occur. I got this from convention, just so you know. I copied it. There's a few things I copied from convention because it was so good. I was taking pictures and I had to put them to use. Stress reduces the blood-brain barrier's ability to block hormones and chemicals from entering the brain, thereby allowing corticosteroids to speed up the brain's ability to process information and make a decision. What is all that? So in our brain, we have a blood-brain barrier, which is like the thick wall of cell membranes. And the cool thing about essential oils is they can actually permeate through. They can pass through because they're fat-soluble, lipid-soluble. That's why essential oils can be so effective when other things can't. There's over 10,000 studies just with frankincense with brain cancer patients, and it actually proved that frankincense was more effective than chemotherapy was, specifically because of that. Pretty amazing. So taking it internally, the frankincense is how they did it in the studies. Taking it internally like every 2 to 3 hours, putting a drop right on the pad of your thumb, putting it on the roof of your mouth, and then putting it right here on the back of the neck and brainstem area. Pretty interesting, right? You can go to PubMed.gov and read a lot of those studies. It's pretty amazing stuff. Okay, so there's so many things that stress causes. Stress does cause disease and illness, right? So we have to figure out and get a hold of how we deal with stress. These are not just 10 illnesses caused by stress. These are just 10 that I actually chose to put up here. So heart disease. I mean, how many people have heart attacks because they deal with a whole lot of stress, or maybe they just don't know how to deal with their stress? Anybody know somebody they know? I bet you all probably know more than just one or two hands that have gone up. Asthma, obesity. Did you know that with obesity, that stress actually helps you? That sounds like it's a good thing. Actually makes you gain weight in the stomach, specifically. Stress. Right? It's not as much as if you're gaining weight like in your hips or your arms or your chest or anywhere else, but specifically along the stomach. Stress doesn't cause diabetes, but if you have diabetes, stress definitely can worsen it. Headaches. How about if you're really stressed, you get a tension headache? You just start getting a headache. Totally normal. Depression. Totally makes sense. Gastrointestinal problems. So there was something I wanted to read here. So here's one thing that stress doesn't do. It does not cause ulcers. How many of you heard that? Stress causes ulcers. It really doesn't. However, it can make them worse if you already have them. Stress is also a common factor in many other GI conditions such as chronic heartburn, IBS, acid reflux. So stress causes many different things. I can tell you for me personally, this is a really good topic for me. I like teaching this class because I used to struggle a lot with stress, but if you add, like when I had my business, just because I was so overwhelmed with so many things. I don't know if Joan said, I actually sold it about 1.5 years ago, but I still teach. But I did everything. I opened the business my own, I did the books, I did the hiring, I did the training, I did the firing, everything that falls under doing, handling a business, I did it all. But if you asked me during the day, like, are you stressed? I'd be like, oh no, I'm fine. But weird things would happen, and I know now that I'm a little bit older, and I know exactly certain times in my life I was very stressed because my neck would, it's not the proper term, go out. I would turn my head and it would like pop. And like I would be stuck here. First time it happened I was 18, and it was during a very stressful situation. I was stuck like this for like a week and a half. So I know now, and that happened many times when I had the studio, but I could feel it coming on, but that was stress. So I felt fine, but my body's like, you are not fine. So we all probably have something different. Our body reacts differently all the time. Alzheimer's disease, accelerated aging. You ever see somebody a little bit older and you haven't seen them in years, and they've maybe dealt with a death or something big, and then you see them a few years later and you're like, whoa, they really aged, right? Stress does that to us, can do that to us. Premature death. All right, I had to put this picture up because we're going to start talking about the things that can help reduce stress. I teach dance, I teach ball and dance, so I had to put health benefits of dancing. There's so many benefits you can get of dancing. It doesn't matter if you're dancing, but exercise in general is going to help you reduce stress. So just for fun, benefits of dancing: boosts your memory, it really does. Improves flexibility, helps to reduce stress, diminish depression. It's great for your heart. It can help you lose weight. You have fun while you're dancing. You don't even realize that that's the best part. Gives you better balance, more energy, and you can make friends. So anyway, exercise is really important. You should definitely be exercising, like getting your heart rate up at least like 3 times a week. Even if it's just going outside and going for a walk, something to get, and plus just being out in the fresh air, like it's very, very good for you. It's very helpful. So how do you manage and handle stress? So, like I said, we all have different things that really stress us out. Like maybe you're the type of person, somebody cuts you off when you're driving and you just feel your temper, see, if you're laughing, that might be you. It could be anything. How do you deal with it? Does anybody have anything that they do that just really kind of helps calm them down? Or maybe that's why you're here today. Take out your balance oil. What? Scream at them. Scream at them? Hey, if you feel better afterwards, that might not be a bad thing.
Sure.
So hopefully we can start to learn some things that you can do without having to scream at them.
What's your question?
So we're going to talk about the best oils for stress. Now, I'm sure you all know, but I'm just going to say it anyway because I don't know if there's many new people in here. But our bodies are all different. Our body chemistries are all different. So what works for one person doesn't always work for another. So I'm going to talk about some specific oils and talk about the things that, the benefits that you can get from them. But you might have something else that you've already experienced that works really well for you. But I think it's a great thing to learn about the oils and then start to make your own blends, because it's not always one oil that works. It could be many different oils that work well for you. I just taught a class this week with blends, essential oil blends. So where everybody was making their own blends, because I think when people are new and they're using the oils and maybe they open up the book or they open the app on the phone and they're like, oh, headache, and they see 20 oils that are listed, they kind of freak out, like, I don't have all of those oils. Well, you don't have to have them all, but you can start with one and try it and see what works for you. But if you have a little roller ball and you're able to like make them a sample, or they have their own oils and they can try it, they're probably going to have better luck with it. So here are my, not just 9 amazing oils, but these are the ones that I chose to talk about today. So frankincense, balance, Roman chamomile, lavender, wild orange, vetiver, Hawaiian sandalwood, elevation, and aroma touch. So frankincense, we know that's like the best of the best, right? So if I always say if I was stuck on an island, I would definitely want, if I could only have one oil with me, it would be frankincense, because it works for almost everything. But specifically with this topic today, we're going to talk about how it calms stress and tension, supports the immune function, enhances cognitive function, safe for kids, safe for the elderly. I put this on my son, a blend of balance and frankincense and like a couple drops of lavender in a roller ball. He gets it a couple times a day. Balance is one of my favorites. So we all are drawn to different scents. Like for me personally, I tend to like very woodsy smells, and I like citrus. The florally stuff, like ylang ylang, not so much for me. But I really love, I love balance. It's one of my favorites. So I've been using the oils now for, I want to say about 3.5 years, something like that. And I've had balance oil for a while, and I always put it on, I rub it on the back of my neck just because I like the way it smells. I have like a little spray in my purse, and I do balance and elevation. Sometimes I do a drop of peppermint. I think because every time I would hug Joan when I would see her, it's what she smelled like. Seriously, I'd hug her and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to smell like you. You smell so good. And that's always what she had. Where's Joan? She snuck out, but I swear that's what it was that she was using. So anyway, my point is I've used this for a while. And so just recently, like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I've only shared this story one time. I'm going to share it again today. So we'll have these little things we don't really like to talk about maybe, so I'm going to share mine with Periscope and all of you. So I have this thing where like my fingers twitch. Like I sit on the couch, not during the day, but when I sit down to relax at night, my son finally goes to bed, I just feel like my fingers twitch. You all are looking at me. I hope somebody else out there might have the same thing. Otherwise, it's just me. I don't know. But when I think about it, I can relax. and I start watching TV again, or like I'm pushing my cuticles back. I'm just fidgety, very, very fidgety. And so, and I use oils for sleeping. Good, I'm not the only one, yay! So I use oils for sleeping all the time. I have a blend that I'll share with you in a few minutes. But it literally just like 4 months ago, I took the balance out, kind of like gave myself an aroma touch, not for any purpose, except for the fact it was sitting next to me and I was sitting on the couch, gave myself an aroma touch. And I swear, like, my husband is very aware of my hands, and he's an engineer at the fire department, so he's always like analyzing, like, why my fingers are twitching. So he'll just put his hand on mine. He doesn't even say it anymore, like, just holds my hand. I'm like, am I doing it again? He's like, yes. I'm like, okay. So I just stop, and then a little while later, hand comes back to my hand again. I'm like, oh, okay. So anyway, I used the balance oil this night, and it not completely stopped, but it definitely, like, I was more relaxed. My hands stopped fidgeting, and I'm like, just my personality, I'm like, no, it's not because of the balance oil, even though 3.5 years I've been using it. And so each night I was trying it, and it happens every night, the fidgeting. And so now I know that the balance oil keeps me from fidgeting. That's what this oil is supposed to do, and I've never used it for that purpose. It's ridiculous. Now, it is in my sleep oil blend, but I always put it on before I go to sleep. Go upstairs, brush my teeth, all that stuff, put it on the bottoms of my feet, and then I go to sleep and I sleep well. But I'm now putting it on before it's time to go to bed, and I'm doing much better. So if you have anything crazy like that, balance oil is like, it's amazing. Roman chamomile, you guys can now get it in your back office. So we're going to talk about sleep in a second. Roman chamomile is one of the best oils that you can use to promote overall relaxation and sleep. Lavender is too. So when it comes to sleep, there's different reasons why we don't sleep. So, and this is great when you're talking to other people too, because I have struggled with sleep. The whole time I had my business, I had to take some kind of something PM to help me sleep every night. That's terrible for you. Terrible. I didn't care. I was like, I just need to go to sleep. Tylenol PM, whatever. Something if it was PM just to help me fall asleep. Or you take...
No. Do you guys know what the PM part is in all that stuff? Benadryl. FYI.
That would help me sleep.
I worked in a pharmacy for 3 years.
Yeah, so I had to have some kind of assistance to help me sleep, but I still didn't always stay asleep through the night. I would wake up like, did I call this person? Did I do this? Did I do that? Then there's the type of person who just lays in bed awake and they can't fall asleep. So there's different kinds of reasons, or maybe just each night it's something different. You know, it just depends on what's going on in your brain, what's going on in your life. So lavender is going to be really great for the people who struggle with insomnia, right? Roman chamomile overall is great. Now, wild orange uplifts mood, energizing while reducing anxiety and depression. I'm getting the vetiver. So vetiver is the one that works best for me. And so it works with your central nervous system. So that's going to be great for those people who go to sleep and they constantly are waking up throughout the night. Okay, so I do a blend of vetiver, serenity, which now has vetiver in it. I also do lavender, even though there's lavender in serenity, I do a little bit extra of that, and balance. And then other additional ones would be like Roman chamomile if you have it. Cedarwood can be very good, so those would be additional. But your main 3 essential oils for sleep, okay, because usually for many people that's what's going to, the stress affects your sleep, right? So Roman chamomile, lavender, and vetiver are going to be your 3 main oils that you want to use. And then you can add any of these other ones that will be helpful, or all of them if you have them. Wild orange, it's funny because when I had my son, he basically did not sleep the first 8 months. And you know, he's not sleeping, I'm not sleeping. And how well do we deal with sleep? Not having sleep? I don't deal very well with it. I think the first 8 months after he was born, I think it was sort of like a dream state when I look back. Seriously, it's like I was dreaming, like what was real, what wasn't. It was just so foggy because I wasn't sleeping. And I tried every oil. He was colicky. I tried every oil. I diffused every oil. I text Joan all the time. What do I try now? What do I put on the bottom? I put everything on the bottoms of his feet that I could. After a long time, I'd never put wild orange in the diffuser because I wasn't thinking, I was newer to the oils, and I was thinking mood uplifting, that it would keep him awake. And then it's actually not. It tended to be the one that he slept a little bit longer with, or a little bit more solid, woke up less. And so wild orange was really great. So as soon as I just randomly put it in there one night by itself, and it was a good night, and then I tried it again the next night, and we had a few good nights with it, so I really started researching it, and it actually really helps colicky babies. Why I didn't get that information before? There's a lot of information out there. But vetiver is, like I said, it's one of the best ones for sleeping too. Going to be the one where it helps you fall back to sleep. So if you make a little roller ball of whatever your sleep oils are, you can put it on as often. If you find yourself waking up, put it back on. Put it on the bottoms of your feet. It takes 10 seconds to get into your bloodstream. 30 seconds to get into your bloodstream, and after 10 minutes, it's in every cell of your body. It is extremely effective. If you haven't watched the video, we're not going to do it right now. It's only like 2 minutes long. Go to YouTube and YouTube doTERRA Balance Oil, and it'll actually show you. Has everybody seen that? I hope. If you haven't, you need to do that. It's literally 2 minutes long. It shows all the cells under a microscope, and they're all clumped together. And then it shows you after somebody puts a drop of balance oil on the bottoms of their feet. I believe it was only 30 seconds after, and then the cells are all moving around freely. I wonder what my cells looked like when I was fidgeting. And then I put it on, and they're like, thank you. Okay, so vetiver is, when studying it, people call it all different sorts of things, but I read that it was like known as the all-natural sleep tranquilizer. So by no means think that you're going to put this on and feel like you took something PM and then it's going to help you fall asleep. It doesn't really work that way. Natural things don't work that way within our bodies. So I'm going to give you an example. So I use these sleep oils, these 5 sleep oils that I just said a couple minutes ago, every single night. And I have struggled in the past with sleep. So as soon as somebody tells me that they have trouble sleeping, I have these little tiny quarter drams that are little roller balls, and I give them to people all the time because I'm like, you have to try this. So I was at the studio one night, and this lady she's a school teacher, she was telling me she just couldn't sleep. I'm like, oh, let me bring you something. And she's being polite, oh no, you know. No, I'm gonna bring you something. I'll bring it to you tomorrow. So I made her a little roller ball. I made her a little tiny mini, like a little spritz of like, I always do lavender, eucalyptus, and rosemary just because I like that. I think everybody likes it. So she could spritz her bed or her pillow or whatever. I think that's all I gave her. And so I told her how to use it, roll it on the bottoms of your feet. If you wake up in the middle of the night, do it again. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go home and try this tonight. And I said, can I text you in the morning and see how you feel? And she said, sure. So I texted her the next morning, and she said, she's like, I think I slept a little bit better, but I don't think it was because of the oils. And I said, okay, so we'll try it again tonight. Tell me what you think. And so, again, then I asked permission to text her the next morning. I don't want to drive her crazy. Then she loves me because now she's sleeping really good. So I texted her the next morning, and she said, well, I seem to wake up a little bit less than I usually do, and I was able to fall asleep a little bit more easily. And but I don't think it was the oils. That was 2 times. And I said, okay, we'll use it tonight. I'm going to text you tomorrow. Same thing happens again. I text her, and she's like, I need these oils. So that's sort of how it works. It's not like you take it or you use it and you're like, conk, passing out. You can't control yourself. No, it just helps you. It's without even realizing it. You just fall asleep a little easier. You sleep a little bit deeper. You wake up a little less often. The more often you use it, the better. You're not going to get addicted to essential oil. You can. I'm addicted to essential oils, but in a good way. They're very beneficial to us. You can use them as often as you want. Hawaiian sandalwood, uplifting properties, great for meditation, elevation. They call it the joyful blend. Elevates mood, promotes self-confidence, and increases energy. Aroma touch, soothing, relaxing, comforting, helps to reduce tension, right? So tension, stress. Okay, so there's a couple things I stole from convention. This was one of them. So 33% of Americans are not getting enough sleep per night. Lack of sleep impacts immune system, cardiovascular, and overall health, as well as ability to lose and maintain weight. Right? A lot of people are struggling, and maybe they exercise and they eat really well, and they just can't get that last little bit of weight off. A lot of times it can be due to stress. In many people, but especially the elderly, poor sleep can be linked to poor light exposure. Sleep quality, along with the memory and alertness, improves with proper lighting. If you went to convention, you remember they were talking a lot about that, and they were talking about how they did all these studies and where these elderly people were just in a room with not very good light versus, moving them into the room with natural light, and just how much their mood enhanced and like overall well-being. It's pretty amazing. So it is something that's very important. Stole this picture too. they're all not really my pictures, so I guess I stole them all, but I like this one too. So this is basically, I just want you to look at it. It's a little blurry.
Just
This
borrowed.
is a picture of a picture, but it's talking about the things that your brain is doing while you're sleeping, which is why it's so important that we sleep well and solid. Brain regulates growth and repair, processing information, emotional processing, replacing energy reserves, developing memories, removing waste products, rebuilding metabolism. It's so important that we sleep. So many good things happen while we sleep. And don't we feel better when we sleep? Disruption, like I said, the first 8 months after I had my son was just a big blur. You all, we all require different amounts of sleep. I have a friend who kids, and she just can live off of like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. If I was getting 3 or 4 hours of sleep, I would be already passed out on the floor. I just can't do it. Can anybody do that? Can anybody go on really little sleep?
But it's what
You function pretty well. I don't, and I get cranky. Just say.
It's always that.
The crankiness. So sleep disruption, loss of attention, high-level microsleeps, failure to process information. That's a big one. Impulsivity and loss of empathy, memory impairment, reduced cognition and creativity. I get very short too, and my son is 2, so sometimes like if I really don't sleep, or even if like it's very, for me, important that he sleeps in his own bed because I am the lightest sleeper. Any little noise, I'm like looking around, I'm awake, so when he comes in and he does sleep in bed with us, which luckily doesn't happen all the time, I'm pretty much awake. So the next day I just find him kind of short, like he hates something that stresses me out. He hates eating. How can you hate eating? We give him the best stuff. Like really tasty things he does not like to eat. And eventually it weighs on mine and my husband's nerves. Like we're like, I want to pull your hair out. Like that first picture. Sometimes I feel like that. Mood instability, anxiety, definitely anxiety. Anyway, you can see it all there. This is great. Okay, so if you all don't know, something that they changed this year, the Serenity Restful Blend now has vetiver in it. I think that was the best addition that they could have done to that. That was the only thing that was missing. When I use that, I just add for myself a little more vetiver, but it's really great. And the soft gels are really great too. And I actually hardly ever need the soft gels because my sleep oils work really well. But the rare times, like there was another time maybe like 4 or 5 days ago, I just like, it was late and I just felt like, okay, I know I'm not going to fall asleep anytime soon. And so then I took them and I slept. It does. It just helps you sleep better, more restful sleep. You wake up and you don't feel groggy. You don't have any of those effects that you would have if you were actually taking something over the counter. Oops. There we go. So ideas to help reduce toxins. So what are we exposed to every day? There's no way that we can get toxins completely out of our lifestyle, but I really believe that that is why we are all here. That's why we are all using essential oils, because they're healthier, they're safer, they're natural, they're better for us. So everything that we do, every decision we make is going to be helpful. So it doesn't mean go home and throw everything out of your house, but little by little, the decisions that you make are going to better you in the future, right? Because toxins do make us sick, right? So think about, well, I'm sure somebody knows, and if you've been in my classes, don't answer it, but what's the #1 time a day that your body takes in the most toxins? Morning?
3 a.m.?
3 a.m.? Oh, that's very exact. I like it. What else? Anybody else want to take a guess?
Noon.
Noon? What do you think, Joan?
5.
It's when you leave the house, probably.
Leave the house? 5?
Evening.
It could be any of those, but it's actually when you take a shower. Depends on what time you take a shower. So I didn't realize that when I first learned that, but if you think about it, so you get in the shower, the water is warm, you're opening your pores, what are you washing yourself with? What kind of soap are you using? What kind of shampoo and conditioner are you using? What other products are you using for whatever shaving, I don't know, whatever else you might use in the shower. Scrubs on the face, right? Then you get out of the shower and you grab a towel. What was your towel washed in, right? What kind of laundry detergent? What kind of fabric softener? Fabric softener has so many chemicals in it. So you're just literally rubbing that right into your skin. And I always say, like, when we have, well, I think this because my son is 2 and he's so young, but when we have a baby, or when there's kids, we think so many times, like, make sure we use the laundry detergent without the fragrances and the dyes. You don't know what they're going to have effects to. But as we get older, we stop thinking about that. And we just use whatever smells good, inexpensive, whatever, however it is that you choose. So it's really important that you make those decisions for yourself, because those are really highly toxic, the detergents and the fabric softeners. And then, let's say you put something in your hair, products. What kind of products are you using? You're blowing your hair dry, putting product in your hair. Face, lotion on your body. That's a huge one, right? Just think of all the little things that you're using just between getting into the shower and like your first 15 minutes after the shower. So when we take a shower, it is the number one time we take in the most toxins. So, yeah, so I just think every little thing that we can do to be helpful. And then this is my last one. So find what helps you relax and feel happy. That's not one of my pictures.
I was going to say I'm jealous now.
Yeah, no, that looks really nice. I'd like to crawl into that picture. That's why I put it there. So are there any questions specifically? I think the main thing is you know, I'm focused mostly on sleep today, the essential oils that will help with sleep. But, you know, we all deal with stress in different ways. So are there any questions?
So you were saying about your hands twitching? My eyelid twitch. So if I'm going to use balance, would I put it around where would you put that?
Okay, I personally am very sensitive to like so many oils. Balance is one of the ones that I'm not. I would still suggest putting it on the bottoms of your feet. I don't know if anybody else has a similar situation that might have happened, but it's getting into your bloodstream by putting it on the bottoms of your feet, so I don't think it's necessary to put it around your eyes. Plus, you wouldn't want it to get into your eyes. Right. Yeah, I would try just being aware of how you feel like after using it on the bottoms of your feet. Hands too, it's just we constantly touch things all the time, so it's easier to kind of wipe off.
Okay. What were your 5 oils that you used for sleep?
It was vetiver, and I always go heavier on the vetiver. So like if I am doing like a 10 milliliter roller ball, I will probably put like 40-50 drops of vetiver, and then I would drop it down to like 20 drops of Serenity, 20 drops of lavender, 10-20 drops of Balance. And you can use a carrier oil with it, and if you're sensitive, now you can definitely use the same oils, rub it on the back of your neck, behind your ears, maybe even put a little bit here just so you're smelling it as you go to sleep. I don't do that because I'm very sensitive and it makes me very itchy, so I can't do that, but the bottoms of my feet work perfectly. But if you are going to use it elsewhere besides the bottom of your feet, make sure you use a carrier oil. And the carrier oil does not make it less effective. It really just helps it to spread over a wider area and sink into your skin slowly, so that way you don't have, you know, sensitivities or effects like you would if you didn't have it.
But that was only 4. Was
Oh, I'm
Cedarwood
sorry.
the 5th?
I get caught up and I start
Cedarwood
talking.
the other one?
Cedarwood, that wasn't one of the 5. Let's see.
Okay.
It was
Vetiver,
Vetiver,
Lavender, Serenity,
Lavender,
Balance.
Serenity Balance, and Roman Chamomile.
Okay.
If you don't have Roman Chamomile, Cedarwood can be a good one. Sandalwood, frankincense, any of the ones that I listed were frankincense, balance, Roman chamomile, lavender, wild orange, vetiver, Hawaiian sandalwood, elevation, aroma touch. So any of those would work, but I would just make sure that you have like the 3 main ones we talked about: the lavender, the vetiver, and what was my third one? Roman chamomile. Okay. But for me, the balance oil is equally as important for me. Yes.
I had to add juniper berry to that because I was having very active dreams. I use vetiver and lavender.
I've heard juniper berry's really good for that, and it helps with kids like with night terrors and stuff too. So this is great because, like I said, we're all different and we all react differently to things. So you guys are going to have other oils that are going to be helpful with sleep too. I'm giving you mine, and I'm giving you kind of like the research that I found, but definitely that's a good one. Anybody have anything else that helps them sleep? Might help somebody else along the path?
I don't know. It's not
Are there any questions? No? Okay, well I think that's all I have for today, so hopefully it gives you a little bit more insight to what oils to use to help you kind of sleep better and reduce your stress a little bit, and then if you have any questions, I'll hang out for a little bit. Thank you. I'll leave you with my picture of...
Baked wine would help too.
What'd you say?
Red wine.
Red wine. I'll tell you what, I do like red wine, but you gotta be careful with red wine because it will help you fall asleep, but it doesn't always help you stay asleep. So it can, any kind of alcohol definitely can wake you up throughout the night, and I do like to drink red wine. So it doesn't keep you asleep. That's maybe drink red wine and then rub the oils in the middle of the night. I don't know. Just joking. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Wow.